This is the last video in this section. Finally, right? Well, I spent a lot of time talking about the basics and some important points, I know, but trust me, this will come very handy in the next section because the more you are familiar with how Terraform works as Terraform without any integration with other platforms and stuff, the better that you'll be able to do anything with it later on. So I want to end this section by talking about another common aspect we will work with a lot in Terraform, which is the outputs. Now I will show you how you can create an outputs.tf file, how to select what values that you want to output and display in the CLI interface. Now the points of outputs is when we build our configuration, such as this basic VM configuration, once we deploy it, we want to know some information about this VM, right? We want to, for example, know the VM name, the public IP address, the internal IP address, and stuff like that. So using outputs is our way or our method of knowing this information. Now, to output stuff in Terraform, you need to have two things. As mentioned, you need to have an outputs.tf file and a value to output. Obvious, right? So let's do that. And let's say that I want to output the VM name, the VM public IP address, and the VM internal IP address. So let's first create our Terraform outputs.tf file. Again, in the root folder where we have everything, we'll just put a new file called outputs. Once I do it right, outputs.tf. And then let's type the first entry here. Again, this is a block. And the type obviously is output. So this is output. And the name of this output is VM name. And then we want to display the name, right? So first of all, we type value because we want to output the value, and then the resource type. And again, I had it configured here, which is compute engine instance, I think. Google compute instance. So Google compute instance, you see autocomplete again will come in handy here, and this is the one. And I want to display the name of this. So this is again autocomplete, and this is the name. That's it. Now let's do the other one, which is the internal IP, and then we do the public IP. So output, and then let's do that again, value equals Google compute instance. Then Flask app1, then I don't know exactly what is the IP here, but let's see if we can get it here. Or we can do something else, which is reviewing these values. Let's see what we have. Yeah, it's network IP. So it's network IP under network interface. So let's do network interface and then network IP. Now again, we'll test this. We will know if this is correct or not. But let's move to the other one, which is the public IP. So again, output, and then value, and then Google compute instance, and then now I think this is done in the access config because we see NAT IP here. So network interface, then access config, then NAT IP. I think this is how we should do it. And again, if you need the information about this, then the documentation from Terraform is your friend. This is the VM configuration. It's not what I'm using, but it's the sample usage for it. And basically, you just look through the properties and it will tell you what type of values that you can use here. So if I type NAT_IP, this is the one that will I'm outputting. This is the IP address that will be one-to-one mapped to the instance network IP. So let's save and let's see what's going to happen now when we run our configuration. So Terraform, let's do init again just in case we need to refresh something. Let's do Terraform apply. It's probably going to change something in the VM. Well, the output here is very helpful And this is something I want to talk about, but then I thought, let me just show it to you by example. The error output here is very descriptive. You will exactly know where is the issue and what is the issue so that you can fix it. It told me that this is represented by an index or a list of objects, and I need to specify the index. And I'm only having a single network interface, so it makes sense to have this by 0. And I'm expecting it will throw another error with access config. So I did the same, and I immediately got the NAT IP. I'm not sure if there is anything after that, but yeah. So let's save now. Let's run again the Terraform apply. And you see that now it's going to display these. So I will say yes. These are not specific now, but let's actually go through the whole deployment again. It's going to change something. I should have checked before, but anyways, it's just going to do a few changes. They should not take long time. And then we will see the outputs at the end of the log here, or what we're going to see now. So now you see a new section that came, which is outputs. We have the external IP, the internal IP, and the name of the VM. I mean, you can just validate this by going to the console. And let's see what we have. So this is the primary internal IP address, 10.0.0 or 10.0.1.5, which is 10.0.1.5, and the public IP ends by 176.48. So we have 176.48. So yeah, this is how you output values in Terraform. One thing I want to test, which is, let's actually output the whole network information. So let me duplicate this VM network info. I mean, just to play with things. Let me remove this whole section here. I'm not sure if this will work, but again, we're just experimenting here. Again, Terraform apply. We'll see what's going to happen now. So the point that I want to show you is you can output specific values, strings or numbers or whatever. You can also output objects, right? This is an object. This is a list of stuff. So I will type yes, and we will see now the output format once the apply process is completed. And now you see stuff came in here. Outputs, the 3 lines, they are here. And then the network info, which contains a lot of information. Most of these we don't even need, but it's just to show you the options that you can have in terms of outputting stuff. Well, this is it for the points I have about the basics of Terraform, as I want to call them. These are not everything, of course, as I mentioned already, but these are the most common things that I will work with and use later in the coming videos. There will be more advanced points to be covered, such as the modules or some logic like loops and stuff like that. Again, I will keep these until the time where I will actually need to use them, so then I will be discussing them in brief and show you how to use them by example. For now, let's just get into the exciting stuff, which is using all of these with GCP to manage GCP with Terraform. But before I move on, I just want to highlight something. What I have done in this basics section is also considered a takeaway for you, right? I have built a VM template for you that you can use for testing, right? You can just use this to test whatever VM configuration that you have. You can just go to terraform.tfvars, change these. You can deploy your own VM right now. So this is your first takeaway of this course, which is a very basic Terraform configuration to create a VM inside a project. I'm sure the stuff that we're going to build later on will be more exciting, even more complex than this, but you will see how easy it is and how enjoyable the process is to build those configurations step by step and line by line, similar to what we've done in this section. So until the next section and the next exciting stuff, take care and have a great time.